So every Monday, I would set a timer from 9 to 11 is my administrative time, and I would get it done in those 2 hours. Now, I've gotten a little bit better at it, so it takes me less time. And I will admit that now I do have a team that helps me with that, and a social media manager that helps to schedule them out and post them. Hey there. Thanks for joining me for another edition of Female Empowered. I am Krista Gurka, your host. And today we're going to talk about a question I get asked a lot. I coach a lot of business owners about how to strategize coming up with the best content for their business and how to create content, whether that be email campaigns, newsletters, social media is a big one, podcasting, blogs. There's a lot of things that we can do. And most commonly, what I get from people is either deer in the headlights look, or the question of, I just don't think I can take any more on my plate. And I get that. I feel that a lot. Most of us are in our business, working on our business day in and day out. So we're teaching classes, we're managing people, maybe we're working the front desk, we're treating patients, doing the marketing, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a lot on our plate. And I am also a big, big believer in efficiency, in killing two birds with one stone. So what we're going to talk about today is how you can do what we call batch content, and also how you can repurpose it so that you are not doing the same amount of work over and over and over and over again. And the more it gets batched out, the more you're able to schedule it and see freedom down the road, rather than just waking up in the morning and saying, what am I going to post today? I have no idea what I'm going to post. Okay, so what do I mean when I talk about batching content? So what we mean by batching is creating a bunch of content at one time. So for example, this is actually a perfect example. Currently, at the time of this recording, I have taken a little solo getaway, a retreat that I thought that I would never really be able to do, because for so long I thought that I was tied to the studio and to the clinic and the office, and I couldn't leave for an extended period of time. But what I'm realizing is, with the right systems in place, I've been able to go away. My idea was to batch a bunch of content for the summer, because I want to have a relaxing summer. At the time of this recording, it is the beginning of June. I want to have a relaxing summer, and I don't want to be recording podcasts throughout the next couple months. All right. So what I am actually doing is I am going to be recording about 5 podcasts over a 2-day period, so that I will have content for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. And then in a month from now, I'll probably batch record another 5 or 6 episodes. So I'll have content for another 4 to 6 weeks. So that's what batching is. Currently, the way that I work and the way that's really helped me is Mondays are scheduled for administrative days for me. Now, administrative days means that it could be, most of my administrative days consist of content creation. So that could be creating social media for Pilates in the Grove, creating social media for Krista Gurka, email campaigns, promotional email campaigns, deciding on which promotions we are going to do in the future, podcasts, scheduling podcast interviews, that kind of stuff. So each and every Monday has an assignment. I'm also a big believer that if it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't exist. So the first Monday of every month, I batch social media for the entire month, 30 days. And on both platforms, I post 5 days a week. So what I do, and now I use a software called Airtable. This is audio only, so I can't show you a demonstration of it, But we will probably be doing a masterclass over the summer of all of the technology that we use in the business, because I think that that would be very helpful. But right now I use a software called Airtable, which is great. But prior to that, when I was doing a lot of this on my own, I just used a Google Doc. And I had a running Google Doc of every month. And what I would do is I would just Google specific dates of the month, and I would see what is it National Day. So for example, International Pilates Day or National Take a Nap Day. I'm a big napper, so that's something that I would post about. National Ice Cream Day. Maybe it's National Physical Therapy Day, or funny ones like National Peanut Butter Day. Or if you've been following me, you know, I have a new pup that I love, National, Pet Adoption or Pet Rescue Day. I would choose about 4 or 5 of those, and I would mark them on those dates. And then I would write little captions or copy about them. The other thing that I would then do is I used to use kind of like a rubric of different things to post so that I could be more organized. So on Mondays, and if you follow my grid, you can see that on Mondays, I post a quote. It's usually a motivational quote, and I use the hashtag Motivational Monday. For Pilates in the Grove, we usually do a meme on Monday memes. Tuesdays, we usually do, right now, I post my podcast on Tuesdays for Krista Gurka. So that's like Tuesday tutorials. And for Pilates in the Grove, we do Tuesday tutorials. You could maybe do Tuesday tips. Wednesdays is usually a workout for Pilates in the Grove. We run a free Facebook Live or Instagram Live class. And Wednesdays for Krista Gurka is usually kind of something personal, movement related. Thursdays, we do Thursday thoughts, or Thursdays for Krista Gurka, I usually do a reel. And then Fridays is usually Fun Friday, and it's something funny or personal about me. So you can create any type of rubric that you would like. It helps keep you organized. So the first Monday of every month, I sit out and I just do my social media. I pick the picture I'm going to use. I pick if I'm going to do a reel, I decide which reels I'm going to do. If I am going to do my podcast gets put on there. And then Friday, maybe it's something funny or something personal. And I would just write out the caption and pick a picture or a video. All right. And that's what I would do every Monday. So every Monday, I would set a timer from 9 to 11 is my administrative time. And I would get it done in those 2 hours. Now I've gotten a little bit better at it, so it takes me less time. And I will admit that now I do have a team that helps me with that, and a social media manager that helps to schedule them out and post them. But I still post all of my own posts for Krista Gurka. That I still do on my own. I just actually like it. And sometimes spur of the moment, I really want to change things up. And so it gives me freedom to do that. However, if you are someone who you're working in the business and you don't want to have to be reminded of it, you can use a scheduler. I actually recommend, and we currently use the Creator Studio in Facebook. It's free. It's easy to use. There's other ones out there that are later. Planoly, HubSpot is really, really robust. I don't know that many people need that robust of a platform. But there's other options out there to schedule it if you'd like. But basically, I would just create a Google Doc. I have it running I have it also the app on my phone, and I would just copy and paste it into my Instagram feed. And I would share it directly from my Instagram feed to Facebook. Now, some people say, don't do that, post different things. I don't have the time for that. And so I just post the same thing from Instagram to Facebook, but I do check the links, because you can't say link in my bio on Facebook because you don't have a bio. But so I would go back in Facebook and just adjust it to have the link actually link there. All right. So I hope that makes sense. So first Monday of the month, I batch social media. Second Monday of the month, I try to batch my podcast episodes. So I'm doing the whole month at once, not each week individually. Third Monday of the month, I usually do some content creation for basically what programs or promotions or products we're going to be working on. So do I need to create a webinar? Do I need to create a video for that? Do I need to create an email sequence, something for that? And then the fourth Monday is usually catch up. What do I have to do that I haven't gotten a chance to do before? So that's what we talk about batching. Okay. And I really encourage you to set aside the time on your schedule. And we talked a little bit about this in a previous episode. I can't remember which episode it was, where we talked about time management. It was a recent one, so sometime in May, which was a great one of how to manage your time more efficiently. And batching is one of the ways that I recommend that. Okay, so if you are trying to do all of the things, maybe pick one thing. Maybe it's social media. And I know a lot of people get overwhelmed with that. Maybe pick one thing where one day of the week, if it's Monday or Wednesday or Tuesday or Friday, whatever that is, even Saturdays, I know people that do it Saturday or Sunday, and we'll just take 2 hours and write out your entire social media content in one sitting. Doesn't mean you have to post 5 days a week. It could mean that you just have to post 3 times a week, if that's what you're going for. I believe consistency is better than nothing. So my advice is I would rather see people post 3 times a week consistently for 3, 4, 5, 6 months than post 5 times a week and then only do that once or twice a month and then not do it again. So find what you can do, be consistent. The other thing is you can ask for help. Like, for example, in our inner circle, the Beyond the Movement Inner Circle group, those that are in the tier that gets a team with them, they get my social media manager that works for us. They have her and she will post it for them. They have access to my copywriter who does copy for Pilates in the Grove and Krista Gurka that is curating social posts for them. So it's freeing up their time to do the things that are going to drive the most amount of revenue in their business. So that is batching. And I encourage you to try to do it. You're going to fumble around initially a little bit, like when you're doing anything new, but you get better at it. Stay the course and stick with it. It will really, really help you feel less stressed and strained if you have a bunch of stuff prepared ahead of time. Okay. Now, what do we mean when we talk about repurposing? So we want to try to be in as many different platforms as possible. However, doing a social media post on Instagram and then a whole other post for Facebook and then trying to do a video so you can put it on YouTube and then doing a podcast and writing a blog is overwhelming, not efficient, and definitely not sustainable. So what I recommend is what we call repurposing. All right. So what we mean by that is how you take one piece of content and turn it into 5 different pieces of content. Okay, and I'm going to tell you exactly how you can do that. For example, this podcast right now that I am recording it for audio, so it's going to be an audio episode. So that is one piece of content. I'm also recording this with video. So then I have a team that will pull the video so that I can then put it on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, so now we've got 2 pieces of content for the same. Then I'll create a social media post on it. So I will have something on social media. That's 3 pieces of content. Then I will take this and I will transcribe it. So you can pull the audio from here and transcribe it, which will become a blog that will live on my website. That's the 4th piece of content. And number 5 is we will then transfer this into an email that links back to the blog or back to the podcast episode. So now we have 5 pieces of content. Now I can hear what some of you might be thinking, but Krista, I don't have a podcast. Not a problem. I have an answer for that. The same way I have an answer for my kids when they say they can't do something, or my patients when they're like, but I can't XYZ. I have an answer a solution for you. If you don't have a podcast, what you can do, and this is what I did before I started my podcast, you can go live on Facebook or Instagram for that matter. Okay. You can hit the live button and you can record a live. So now you're creating one piece of content on Instagram or on Facebook that people can take in, right? Can engage with. So that's one. You can save that video, right? And you can then create a social media post or maybe put it on IGTV for later, create a post, and then you could take that video and then you can also put it on YouTube. All right. If you have YouTube, you could take that video and put it on your website if you would like. You can then take that video and you can upload it to softwares like rev.com, that's rev.com, and they will caption it for you, number one, so that you have captions in your video for social media for people that are going to listen without the volume. And also you can take that transcription then and turn it into a blog so you don't have to rewrite it. You can take that blog and turn it into an email, right? We always talk about how you should engage your email list, how you should give value to your customers. So let's take an example of how we do this for Pilates in the Grove. Okay. So we will sometimes do a Q&A where we have someone ask us a question about low back pain, for example. We will do a Facebook Live about low back pain, about what it means to have low back pain, the different types of low back pain, what sciatica really is. Then, just like I said, we'll have that live on Facebook. It will live there. We will pull the video and then turn it into a post on Instagram and also house it on IGTV. We will then take the video and we will use, there's a couple different platforms. So rev.com is a great one. There's also one called veed.io. That's another great one as well. And so we take that and we add captions to the video, and we can also pull out the audio so that we can use it as a blog. We'll create a blog on that. And then sometimes we have to wordsmith it a little bit to take out the ums and likes and so's. And we put it also into our newsletter, and which is an email that goes out and has links to the Facebook Live, as well as back to our website if we choose to put it on our website in under our educational content section. So what I want you to see is you only have to do one thing that, and then you can create it in 3 different things. And what if someone says now, well, I just shared it on Facebook. I don't want to share it on Instagram later. By the way, some people don't see all of your stuff. So you could share it 3 days later, 3 weeks later, and they may have not seen it the first time. Right? So that's a way that you can repurpose stuff, and you want to meet your customers where they are. We've talked about this before, and I've definitely spoken about it in the podcast, where it takes anywhere from 7 to 21 touch points for clients to know, like, and trust and want to buy from you. So you want to see them, they want to see you across Facebook, across Instagram. If Twitter is a platform for you, pull a quote out of your video and tweet it, right? Put it up on Twitter. You want to send them back to your website via a blog. Okay. So there's a lot you want, and then an email, right? So engage with your email list. So these are all ways you want to have several different touch points with your customers. And it's a way that you don't have to create 5 different pieces of content, just do one, and you can repurpose it into 5 different pieces of content. Nobody has time to do all of the things. Okay. And it's not sustainable. It is not the best use of your time either. Now, you can certainly do this without a team. I am a huge, huge proponent of having a VA, like my VA, Sarah, who's amazing, who basically, I come on the podcast, I record some stuff, and then my entire team takes care of it. Now, if you're saying, Krista, I don't have a team, I'm not that big yet, I would really encourage you to think about it, because if it takes you 2 or 3 hours to repurpose this content, that it could take a VA 1 hour to do, you are actually going to be saving money by having a VA do it, because you'll be able to see clients or teach classes in those 2 hours, which is going to generate more money for you as a business and as a entrepreneur. All right. So I would really encourage you to think about that. Flip your mindset on that. Hiring a VA 5 hours a week could cost you $100 a week max, probably even less. Okay. And you could get somebody to do all of these things for you that will get this off your plate, get it done in a timely manner. So you, as the business owner, can focus on the things that really, really, really need your time and energy. Okay. So just to recap what we chatted about, we're talking about repurposing and batching content. So your action items after this podcast are to, number one, sit down and look at your calendar and your schedule, and where can you find 2 hours in your week consecutively that you can block off your schedule for content creation. That's action step number one. Action step number two is actually schedule it in your calendar when you are going to batch, whether it's social media posts, whether it's you're going to go live on Facebook so that you can repurpose that content, whether it's that you're going to teach a live Instagram or Facebook class, whatever that is, what are you going to schedule and how are you going to get it on your schedule? And then it doesn't get off your schedule unless there's an emergency. And number three, decide the platform that you are going to try to use to then repurpose that content. For example, are you going to do an IG live or a Facebook live? Or if you have a podcast, and then repurpose that one piece into social media posts, a blog, an email, and even a quote for Twitter. All right. So those are your 3 action items. And then hit me up on Instagram, DM me over on Instagram. Let me know how you are feeling about it and if it's working and where you're struggling. I really love helping people walk through these little things. So hit me up over on Instagram, send me a DM and let me know how it's going. If you like this episode, I'd love for you to screenshot it, share it, tag me at Krista Gurka. And until next time, my friends, let's be efficient in our work. All right. Bye for now.